I'm Emilee with Southern Soul Aussies. This is Sister and Litty. We're following along with KeenDog Training's online curriculum.
To set your puppy up for success from day one, it's important for you to invest in managing your dog appropriately. So when they're in the house, we recommend getting them an X pen, a crate, and also doing some tether work. Handling drills are a way to get your puppy being comfortable with being uncomfortable. A lot of puppies will fight this at first, so it's important when you are handling your puppy that you face them facing up between your legs, and you can have one hand underneath their chin and the other on their chest just to keep them stabilized. So you'll see here, Sister fights the position a little bit more. You do not want to release your puppy out when they're fighting. It's important for them to work through this stress. Handling your puppy at this stage is going to be a lot easier than when they are older. It's also going to be beneficial when you're grooming your puppy. Once you get them comfortable with this position, you can start with teeth brushing, nail clipping, which is going to be a lot easier in this position versus them standing upright.
All done. It might take her a little bit to get into.
When you shape behaviors with your dog, you are getting them to think independently, which is always a good thing. You are rewarding for success of approximation of the end result you are looking for. We find that teaching a place command through shaping is one of the easier exercises to do. So if your puppy starts to walk towards the place, you're going to click and reward, or if you're using a verbal marker, you're gonna mark that with your terminal marker, and then your puppy should come back to you for that reward. Your puppy might not walk all the way onto the place at first, and that's okay. Remember that you're slowly increasing the criteria of what you're looking for. Once your dog gets that light bulb moment, you're going to see them continue to offer up the behavior over and over again, and then you can start to add longer duration. It's important to also have a leash on your puppy to make sure that you can control the outcome of the situation versus your puppy checking out and running away from you. We learned about the windows of opportunity through the trainer J-Jack, who is great at play with dogs. Opening up the window of play is going to teach your dog both an on and off switch, as well as make sure that they're not checking out during play, because they're going to want to stay involved in the game if you're not rewarding for that checkout. Also, with puppies, make sure that we're keeping them on a leash. So when we start to play with our dog, we'll open up that window by saying, "You want to play?" And then we're done with the game, we'll say, "All done." Even if your dog does a backflip, do not reward them when you say "all done," because we really want them to be able to go from a high state of drive to a low state of drive. And as long as you're consistent with this, they're going to be able to do that. Our go-to ball at the puppy stage is a Hart's Bacon ball. These balls have a little bit more give. They have a smell towards them, and they're soft on a puppy's mouth. And then when you're playing fetch with your puppy, it's important to use a retractable leash. Retractable leashes are great for teaching your dog to go out for the ball and come back, because if your dog stops coming back, you can simply lock the retractable, and as soon as your puppy starts coming back to you, you unlock it. Versus a long line getting caught underneath their legs, the easeability of that leash being able to retract is going to go far in teaching your dog to come back with the ball. Also, when your puppy comes back, pet them, love them, make it a fun experience versus just taking it right away. A way to build some confidence in your puppy is to lure them over different objects. You can also do this through shaping. Luring is a good way to get your dog to start to learn how to follow a lure, which is going to help with teaching behaviors long term. When you're luring a puppy, you want to think magnet to magnet. So your hand should be right in front of your puppy's nose, not at a distance away where they could lose that chase of the food.
Wow. This one. Big mountain. Big mountain. Nice job. Careful.
Remember that every dog is different. They are going to advance at different rates. So if you have multiple dogs or had dogs in the past, Please don't compare each dog to each other, even if they're litter mates, such as these sisters. Take your time and really learn about the dog that you have in front of you versus comparing to another dog. So this is just another example of shaping the place. You can also see when she's released off the place, we make it fun and exciting chasing after that food. That food reward should be an extension of play. Now, when it comes to tug, we want to reward for 3 different natural counters that a dog will offer up to you. 1 is a head shake, 2 is a pull back, and 3 is a regrip. If your puppy demonstrates any of these behaviors, you're going to let them win the toy by giving them the toy a little bit more space away from you, sliding your hand down the leash. But then when they're having a hold of that toy, keep that toy active and alive, because that's what your dog wants, is a moving prey-like object. They might get bored if you just keep it dead, and that's also going to teach your dog to get chewy on the toy. We really want this to be a game of possession. There's a clear winner and loser. This is a competitive game versus fetch being a cooperative game. We also have a leash attached to build a little bit of space away from the puppy, because facial pressure is a form of pressure. It's also really important to have a strong recall on your dog. So having your dog go away from you, when you recall them, sing their song in a sing-songy name. So instead of Fido, it should be Fido. And as soon as they turn to start to come towards you, you are going to mark and reward. Remember that marking of the behavior is consistent. So we use the clicker in the beginning because it's just going to be stronger than a verbal marker. But then we'll also switch over to Keen as our terminal marker. A lot of people, such as Emilee, use yes as their terminal marker. As long as it's the same, doesn't matter. Just make sure that that's a fun reward. And it can also be 1 piece of food. It could be multiple pieces of food. It can be an entire handful. And they're chasing after it. You might add in a spin as well, which is a power-up behavior and will build more drive and motivation in your puppy. If you have a friend or family member with a puppy or a well-balanced dog, 2 is much better than 3 or a dog park. So try and set up play dates so your puppy can have a positive experience with a dog without being overwhelmed.